mean, yeah, I get it. Like, Spring Breakers was a cinema release and it was really edgy. I get that. But don't you think that Vanessa Hudgens' career moving into seasonal movies was inevitable? I would love to talk to you about The Princess Switch. Vanessa Hudgens plays Stacey DeNovo, a baker surrounded by exposition.
Hey, boss. You know the Christmas baking contest you're always talking about?
Uh-huh.
Ta-da!
The royal family of Belgravia invites you to compete in our Christmas baking competition.
Can you believe it?
There is no need to show me anything. Yes, just tell me. The Princess Switch has everything. It's The Prince and the Pauper. You've got two Vanessa Hudgens. It's The Parent Trap. One of the Vanessa Hudgens is British for some reason. You've got both of them falling for each other's respective men in their lives. Luckily, nobody's attracted to anyone's personality, so they don't notice the difference in type A and type B. They're just like, well, I got a Vanessa Hudgens for Christmas. It's got a mystical old European man who's magic. When Vanessa Hudgens' Stacey asks him, weren't you in Chicago? He says, how could I have been in Chicago? The same way that she was in Chicago. Planes. They shoehorn in like a bit of a bad bakery bitch as competition in the competition, which is fine. It has no bearing on anything, but I don't mind there being some competition at the baking competition. The Princess Switch is perfect. It's too perfect. That's why I'm unclear as to why there's a second film. The Princess Switch, switched again, came out this year. The budget's bigger. It's kind of like Toy Story 4. It's still fun. There's the same talent. There's maybe not as much focus on the characters I like. So Sam Palladio and Jessie are kind of on a par there. You could have ended on the film prior. Nobody was asking for more. The Princess Switch even hints at a sequel where you've got Prince Edward saying to Stacey that if they're still into each other in a year's time, maybe they can get married. That seems like the perfect place to end, except for the Princess Switch then tacks on a little epilogue where it says 1 year later, we see the wedding. Basically, all of the loose ends are tied up. There's no point. It's kind of like somebody's gone into this knot and is trying to yank strings out. And there's no point because it's just going to tighten the knot. We'll see how much tighter the storytelling was in Princess Switch by doing a second. I do like the absolute lack of conflict though, it has to be said. I mean, you've got Fiona, who's the third Hutchins, who's trying to steal the throne of Montanaro, which Margaret now has to take for plot reasons. She's kind of trying to play it like Sharpay, but because she's doing another British accent, it comes across more like Tiara Gold. I'm really hoping you've seen High School Musical 3. I do quite like the absolute lack of conflict though. I feel like maybe for this year we deserve a film where Prince Edward immediately notices that Stacey is missing and this is Margaret instead. But also forgives her instantly because he understands that Margaret needed the time with Kevin. There are some really fun elements still. Costumes. There's a gay couple dancing at a ball, so woohoo! I would say if you want the experience of watching The Princess Switch twice, why don't you just watch the film The Princess Switch twice?